Word to the cloud.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to the NCEA 2022 conference and our presentation, Social Emotional Learning for Educators 2.0 Lessons Learned. We're sharing our experiences from DePaul University, and we'd like to share what we've learned over this 2 years of our program. And presenting today,
Dana Vance, principal of St. Helens School.
I'm Brianna Hester, first grade teacher at St. Helens School.
I'm Erin Vermillion. I'm a second grade teacher at St. Helen.
And I'm Dr. Donna Keel. I am the director of the CORE, the Catholic Outreach and Resources Project, and faculty member at DePaul University in our Educational Leadership Department. And also I also direct our Office of Innovative Professional Learning.
I'm Sister Mary Paul McCaughey, and I'm fortunate enough to be faculty at DePaul University in the Educational Leadership Department, and really blessed to be a part of this SEL work as a faculty mentor.
and I'm Barbara Rickoff, one of the faculty mentors in the program. And I also serve in our Ed Leadership faculty and as one of the associate deans in our college. So today's session, we hope to accomplish the following goals. We hope to help you become familiar with the CASEL, which is the Collaborative for Academic and Social Emotional Learning Adult Self-Assessment, which was used in this project. We hope you engage you in self-reflection to assess personal strengths and perceived areas of challenge and growth, to learn a set of strategies to support social emotional well-being, and to learn from other Catholic educators some of the tools and resources that they've used successfully.
So we'd like to begin by telling you a little bit about the CORE program, and essential to understanding the program is to understand the name of the program. CORE stands for Catholic Outreach and Resources Program, which also CORE in Latin, as you know, means heart. And one of the things that we knew going in is that our Catholic schools are incredible places of transformation and of emotional support for our students. But one of the things we wanted to do with the CORE program was to design a social emotional learning experience that targeted adults. What we know from the research is that when adults have emotional well-being, they're able to then effectively share that with students. But deeper than that, because there are social emotional learning programs for adults, we wanted to integrate our Catholic faith. We knew that SEL and Catholic faith were intrinsically united, and that faith was often the key to that emotional well-being. And if we could help the adults to really leverage their faith and their emotional wellness, then we could change and transform school culture. So what we did is to use a model and a template we've used in the College of Education at DePaul, and especially in the Office of Innovative Professional Learning, of online microcredentialing. So we created a 6-module microcredential course that where we relied on the expertise of our counseling faculty, and our counseling faculty are experts in the fields of social emotional learning, as well as trauma-informed teaching, as well as culturally relevant practices in teaching. And then we also integrated the expertise of Sister Mary Paul into the faith component of those 6 modules. What we knew about the online course is that it provided a great, strong structure for folks to begin the process of doing the self-discovery that's really essential to SEL within a faith model. We decided to make that even more robust by adding a coaching component so that teachers and leaders and other school staff who took this microcredential program would not only go through the online asynchronous modules, but they would also have live coaching, sometimes virtually, sometimes in person, from a university coach or mentor. For us at DePaul, this was a unique opportunity to collaborate with our programs that included the counseling program, my Office of Innovative Professional Learning, as well as our educational leadership faculty. So we were getting that interprofessional collaboration and being able to benefit from all areas of expertise. And so next I'd like to share with you the micro-credential design and delivery. So a micro-credential, unlike a standard online course, is meant to be very focused on key competencies. So much like competency-based learning, it's asynchronous, so it's self-paced. For our micro-credential, we had the coaching element. Our intention in each of the modules was that the competency gained would really reflect those competencies of social emotional learning, of self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, and relationship and social awareness. We also wanted to ensure, and actually we had written for the grant that supported this program pre-COVID. And so even then we were thinking of a trauma-informed model. During COVID, that trauma-informed model became essential. What was also essential, which is the mission of DePaul, was to make sure that equity was part of each of those modules and that everything was underpinned with an integration of faith. And so to begin our one of the keys of a micro-credential, you can go to the next one. The keys of a micro-credential is to always assess where a learner is or where a participant is before they begin the process. So what we wanted to be able to do was to use a psychometric tool that had validated research that would give participants the feedback on their current social emotional competency, but from a lens of how can I build capacity within each of those competencies. So we also designed the micro-credential as a research project. And so we have an IRB approved research for this micro-credential, which encourages feedback from our participants through surveys and the psychometric tools. So I'd like to show you in the next slide this adult SEL assessment, which you heard mentioned in our goals. This SEL assessment really helps anyone completing it to see where they are right now. And we knew that this would change depending upon what was happening in the world, what was happening internally, but this gives a guide to those of us working in the SEL space, some insight and prompts from which to work with in terms of helping someone with self-growth.
Here are some samples feedback from our participants. Over the past few years, we've offered the course and the modules in face-to-face, hybrid, as well as fully online modalities. So we got a lot of feedback about what impact the course and participating in the program had on teachers themselves. Just a few of their responses: we didn't feel alone and we were able to go deeper on topics together, and they found that was really helpful. Some of the teachers even mentioned how, as new teachers, they might not even know some of their colleagues and their coworkers, depending on if they were working from home and doing all virtual lessons with their students. So it did allow them to be vulnerable, whether they were new teachers or experienced teachers. So from that lens, not just the impact on themselves as individuals, but also thinking about how it impacted on their work. So one of the teachers said, you know, we speak the same language as a social emotional team. We understand now using this language and getting familiar with the jargon. We really understand each other better and we can communicate about these things more comfortably. Another teacher said, it's really helped me reflect and modeling for students how to help them learn social emotional skills. And that really was kind of the hallmark of this project. It really focused on teachers and helping teachers grow and helping teachers better understand what they were going through and then how they could help their students. But the focus really was on the teachers. Self-reflection was a big part of this project, and we use self-reflection quite a bit. We enjoy sharing some of the Brene Brown video clips. And if you haven't seen her clip on empathy, we highly recommend it as a springboard for thinking about our own experiences. On the right-hand side are just some examples of some of the activities our teachers participated in. And it just helped them come to terms with and think about some of the experiences in their own lives and some of the connections of those experiences with their own social emotional development. So whether it was something that was a difficult experience or some obstacles that they had to overcome, or thinking about resources and support that they might draw upon. So all of these were ways that we help teachers self-reflect and just move further along the continuum. terms of strategies, writing and journaling was another way we allowed teachers time and space to self-reflect. On the right-hand column, those are all sample of different writing activities. And they focused on one aspect or another, either thinking about an ideal day or thinking about how others would remember you or the kind of impression you would want to leave on someone. So all of those were opportunities, and throughout the course, teachers were encouraged to write and journal either in-person sessions or online. And these were private journals, private spaces. We have certain activities and certain assignments we asked them to submit to us, but it wasn't graded. It was just really encouraging them to reflect and helping them move along in terms of their own self-reflection. So now I'd like to turn it off to some of our K-12 participants. You can hear from them in terms of some of the lessons they've learned. So I'd still like to start with the principal at St. Helen, Ms. Dana Vance, and she can just give us her perspective on lessons learned and from the principal perspective.
Thanks, Barb. So I was thrilled to welcome these professors into my school to support our teachers, particularly coming off of this second year of COVID. We're kind of still in the midst of it and trying to figure all of that out. So it was really important to me to offer the teachers the time and the space to care for their mental health in this way. We want to model for our students not only academics and growth mindset, but also taking care of ourselves, taking care of our mental health, knowing our limits, knowing who to go to when we need help. So this was a great opportunity to do that and to offer the teachers the time and the space to do that. I wanted them to see that there were other resources outside of our building to go to if they needed that help, and also to build our own community inside of our building. As you said, to really get to know each other in a deeper way. So I'm pretty new to our building, but there are teachers who have worked here for a really long time, but probably didn't ever have these kinds of conversations. So to offer that safe space for that, talking about your own self-care, again, knowing your limits and where to go when you need some help, and really opening up the school community to be safe for those kinds of conversations, I think is really, really important. So I was really happy to offer that time for my teachers.
Thank you, Dana. And now we'll hear from two of the teachers at St. Helen and their perspective on the experience. I'll introduce Brianna Hester and Erin Vermillion, who are going to share their experiences from taking the course.
Thank you. We talked a lot about how it really gave us the chance as educators to connect with our coworkers and make sure that we're reflecting on ourselves as teachers, because when we do that, we are able to better serve our students and be able to meet them where they are at emotionally. And a big thing that we talked about was that we can't be our best selves if we're not taking care of one another and each other. So we made sure that this course gave us the time to do that. That way we can better serve our students and their families during the year.
I would agree. It gave us a chance to look inward and reflect on the past and ourselves and how we can be better teachers, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not going to be the best for the kids in our classroom. And sometimes as teachers, we forget to make ourselves a priority because we're so busy trying to take care of the students in our classroom that will fall behind. But this course gave us some tools to put in our toolkit to help us become better people.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from Sister Mary Paul McCaughey on just the faith component of this course, because that was a special overlay.
Well, and to just play off of both Erin and Brianna, what we discovered is I'm just humbled by the fact that we are really entering the faith life of teachers. We discovered the true commitment they've had to expressing service in a faith context in a way that makes Catholic schools deeply special. And because it is a journey, we're walking kind of this journey together as a spiritual exercise, and exercise not only of the body, but of the spirit. And as you dig into your own social emotional well-being, you discover that there is a core of care And to find that core, not just of self-care, but to find that reflected in God's deep love for us, can be healing and transformational. And because there is this transformation, there is this space to be able to reflect, I think SEL work actually does, to Dana's earlier point, invite community. People can be silent or they can speak, just as long as they experience that there is this love of Christ active, just as this love is, they're trying to share it all the time, just to be able to experience the fact that they are loved by one another and deeply loved by God. So as this, I think we can continue to work, and maybe there'll be a 3.0, to be able to see how we can really intimately call our teachers of faith into relationship with one another in a way that is both gentle and powerful.
Thank you, sister.
And we don't do this work alone. And I think if we were going to give any advice to those brave enough to try to walk this journey of both faith and SEL, that are one and the same, truthfully, they would identify some partnerships and ways to be with others, universities, agencies, and other K-12 schools who share a like commitment to deep service of of students in faith. Talk about yourself as a faculty. How can you begin this work? Are you ready? And maybe, and if you're not ready, maybe you just say, we're going to plunge in and be ready, because we've got to be ready. We've got to all journey in wholeness. And it does take the leader, but it also takes a certain amount of assent and openness in your own space. And that's why it's so important to have a professional learning community. Have folks that are already beginning to talk to one another, that are already developing those plans and ideas. It's why it's important to have strong professional development. This program has been done with an hour at a time over 6 weeks. It's been spread out into a couple of days. It's been spread out into chunked into, as we did at St. Helens, couple of 2-hour sessions and then some 1 hours and away over several months. So how do you keep this maintained and sustained and deepening? That really becomes a part of, once it's embedded into the program, as those teachers learn and practice those skills and talk to one another. And join forces with like-minded schools. Maybe your school isn't ready to go whole in as a whole school, but maybe you have, or you have a small faculty, but to find places and spaces where those who are really concerned about the mental well-being, the health of their teachers and the health of their kids can come together to do this work. And it is the work, it is the work of the church and to be grounded.
So we thank you sincerely for watching this webinar with us, and encourage you to focus and give yourselves time for social emotional learning at the adult level. If you are interested in our program, the core SEL microcredential for Catholic schools, feel free to contact me at dkeel@depaul.edu. If you'd like to hear from Principal Vance, you can see her contact info on the screen. Or if you'd like to contact either one of our brilliant teachers, Brianna or Aaron, their contact is on the screen. Feel free also to contact our expert, Sister Mary Paul or Dr. Barb Rickoff, at their emails. Through DePaul's Office of Innovative Professional Learning, the microcredential, the core Catholic SEL microcredential, is available to any school community that chooses. As Sister mentioned, the microcredential is very customized to meet the needs of the school and the time frame of the school. Often principals or leaders ask me 2 questions: how much does it cost and how long does it take? Both of those components, because DePaul is a Catholic university committed to supporting our partners, are negotiable, and we make it work for whomever needs it. Our big focus and goal is to share this brilliant work with anybody who wants to follow that path of faith and social emotional competency together. So we thank you again.